Hello there, guitarist Hristo Vitchev here, and please welcome to episode 7 of 251 ways to voice a 2-5-1 progression. Alright, we're going to start episode number 7 by moving our soprano note to the second string. And today I'm going to start with the note D, which is going to be our root for the D minor 7th chord. And this is the first option as to how I like to harmonize this note. I'm going to play this voicing. Now I'm spelling this as an E, followed by an F, then followed by a C, and then finally getting to the D. Respectively, in the D minor harmony, E happens to be our 9th, F is our flat 3rd, C is our flat 7th, and then D is our root. So we get this. Now, to the G7 that we're going to voice lead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move to the 7th of the G and voice this voicing. Now this happens to be spelled as a F, A, B, N, E. And this happens to be our G13 voicing. Respectively in the G7 harmony, F happens to be our flat 7, A is your 9th, B is your 3rd, and then E is our 6th or 13th. So that's how we're going to play the G7, again coming from the D minor. To contrast this G7 with something that has some more color, we're going to outer a few of the extensions, and I'm going to end up with the G7 outered. This G7 is spelled as an F, followed by a B flat, B natural, and D sharp or E flat. And so in this case, in the G7 harmony, we end up with a flat 7th, the B flat or A sharp is our sharp 9, our B is the 3rd, and then the note D sharp or E flat happens to be your sharp 5 or flat 13. So this is a G7, sharp 9, flat 13. And the way they're going to work is this. This is a G7 with the 13, and then G7 with the sharp 9, flat 13. And we're going to resolve to this C major. Now this C major is spelled as an E, followed by an A, then C and D. So this is the C major 6-9, respectively. E happens to be the 3rd of our C major chord, A is your 6th or 13th, C is the root, and D is your 9. So our full 2-5-1 progression would look like this. D minor, and this has a D, the 9, so D minor 9, G13, G outered, and C major 6-9. So if I play them in time, this is how they would sound. For option number 2, I like to present this very comfortable way to play the progression in the first position, still harmonizing the same note D. Here's our D minor chord. This is based on a drop 2 voicing. The actual drop 2 voicing this comes from, it's this very basic D minor over C. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking the A down to an open G to get slightly more color in the chord, and that happens to be our 11th. So now my shape for D minor is spelled as a C, F, G and D. Respectively in the harmony, C happens to be the flat 7th of the chord, F is the flat 3rd, G is the 4th or 11th, and D is our root. So D minor 11. Then the closest G7 I'm going to move to would be this. And I'm spelling this as a B half diminished. I'm substituting the G7 for a B half diminished, which looks like a G9. And this is spelled B, F, A, and D. Respectively in the G7 harmony, B happens to be your 3rd, F is your flat 7th, A is your 9th, and D is your 5th. And then we're going to contrast that with an outer G, which is going to look like this. And again, the only thing I did is I took the 9 to a sharp 9, so the A became an A sharp or B flat. And then the 5th went to a sharp 5 or flat 13. So now we have a G7 sharp 9 flat 13. And again, this is spelled as a B, F, A sharp and D sharp or E flat. Respectively in the harmony, B is the 3rd, F is your flat 7th, A sharp or B flat is a sharp 9th, and D sharp or E flat is your sharp 5 or flat 13. And then in this position, I'm simply going to resolve to this very basic C major 9. And this is spelled as a C, E, B, and D. and respectively the C major harmony. C happens to be the root, E is the third of our chord, B is the seventh, and D is your ninth. So the full progression goes like this. It's a very basic way, very easy way to play 2-5-1 in this position. So if I play it in time, this is what it would sound like. So for our third option that I'm going to present today, I'm going to move that same melody note D an octave higher. The reason I'm going to do this is the voicings I'm going to use are all going to play the melody with a pinky, and so all the other fingers have to spread towards my left, and that would not give us enough space if we had done it in the first position of the guitar. But now if I play the D here, here's how I would like to voice a D minor 7 chord. The way I'm spelling this, it's A, E, F, and D. So that's A, E, F, and D, respectively in the harmony. This is going to be the 5th, the 9th, the flat 3rd, and the root. So you get a D minor 9 chord. There's another option for this particular voicing, sometimes I use, and depending on the color I'm trying to create, but sometimes I move the A to a C, so you end up with this voicing. So now it's exactly the same shape, except the 5th went to the flat 7, so now I have a flat 7, 9, flat 3rd, and root. So we'll present both in the sequence so you can see how that sounds. Now once I'm done with the 2 chord, I want to go to the 5 chord. This is the way I like to voice a G7 if I'm coming out of these two. I'm going to voice it like this. This happens to be a G7 flat 9, which is spelled as a B, F, G, and A flat. And so again, B, respectively in the harmony, happens to be the 3rd, F, it's our flat 7th, G is our root, and A flat is your flat 9. So very nice voicing, I really like using. And then the next voicing I'm going to contrast it with is going to be a G7 with a flat 9 and the sharp 9. And the only thing I'm going to do from this voicing, I'm going to move the 2 highest notes slightly higher. So the G becomes a G sharp or an A flat, and then the A flat is going to jump to an A sharp or a B flat. So now the voicing is spelled as a B, F, G sharp or A flat, and then A sharp or B flat. And that happens to be a G7 sharp 9 flat 9, respectively in the harmony. B happens to be again the 3rd, F is our flat 7th, A flat is a flat 9, and A sharp or B flat is a sharp 9. So we came from this G, went to this G. And then we're going to resolve to this very beautiful C major 9. Now this I'm spelling as a B, C, G, and D. Respectively in the harmony, B it's our major 7th, C is your root, G is your 5th, and D happens to be our 9th. So C major 9. Now if I play them in order again slowly, this is what we get. We get D minor. Here's our first G7 flat 9, G7 flat 9 sharp 9, and then our C major 9. Now we can use the other D minor, the one that had the C as the lowest note, and then I will still go to this G7, G7 flat 9 sharp 9, and then resolve into the C major. Now if I play them in time, this is what we'll hear. Now next D minor. One more time, original D minor. Second option for D minor. So now that we have presented all 3 options, let's go back and review them one more time as to see how the voice leading changes. I'm going to move here so you can see my hand in the first position. So here was our first option. We play this D minor. We follow with a G13, G outer, and then we play this C major. Again we have this D minor, G13, G outer, and C major. Option number 2 was slightly more comfortable to play, doesn't require any stretches. We had this D minor 11, went to a G9, G7 outer, and then a C major 9. And then the last option, if I move here so you can see it, in this position, we had this D minor. Again, there's two options for it. We went to this G7, which was the flat 9, then sharp 9, flat 9, and then this C major 9. And again, option number 2 for the D minor, if we put C as the lowest note, then the rest is exactly the same. So now let's play them all in time and see how all these sound in a sequence.